Months for the benefit of clubs, schools and sports federations across the communities. Joining me to speak to me right now, Barry Hendricks, President of the Gauteng Sports Confederation. Barry, welcome to Sports and Prime. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to start here before we get to what the plans are. Gauteng Sports Confederation, we've heard of the South African Sports Confederation, Olympic Committee. What is the Gauteng Sports Confederation?
Well, the National Sports and Recreation Plan that was established in about 2012 meant for the establishment of provincial umbrella bodies, similar to SASCOC, but at the provincial level. So in Gauteng, we'd have the Gauteng Sports Confederation. In the Western Cape, we'd have the Confederation. And all provincial sports structures need to affiliate to that organizations so that we can provide services such as this project that we're going to talk about.
So in a nutshell, it's I want to say it's more like Gauteng Sports. Because there is a provincial department, which is Gauteng Sports. Is that what you fall into, basically?
No, we are a non-government organization. So we like SASCOC. We get elected every 4 years. So I'm an elected service that provides services, an executive member that provides services for the sports fraternity. Yeah.
Now, the question is then coming, I mean, it's all good and wonderful. We think 5 million rand, sporting facilities. Yeah. I could say there's never enough money, especially for sports, being a sports person myself, but there is a need for things like these to be done, especially if you go to the likes of Soweto, the likes of your Outreachvilles, especially the townships where people have been asking for facilities and they're not there in most cases.
Yes. Now this project is totally different to the mega multi-million rand facilities, the sports stadiums that you see in the major cities. Through the Gauteng Gambling Board, and they've provided this 5 million. And this 5 million was provided last year, so the projects already, most of them are completed already. Does not focus on the huge stadiums. It focuses on what a club needs, a cricket club needs in a specific area, or what a community needs in a specific area throughout Gauteng, the 5 districts of Gauteng, and through the various types of sport, from tennis to football, to indoor sports as well.
I mean, you look at, I'll come back again to the sum 5 million rand, then all of a sudden is a drop in the ocean. It's actually nothing, considering the fact that vast majority, and I'm going to again speak of Soweto alone, because it's a township I know fairly closely. I mean, you got the Soweto Rugby Club, you got where the wheelchair tennis is normally done. And there's so many, Arthur Ashe Stadium. There's so many things that obviously need that kind of funds, but the reality of the matter is the province is fairly vast, but you've got to start somewhere, basically.
Yes, and as I said, we went to the Gauteng Gambling Board. They bought into the idea. They have committed to funding us again for the next phase, and they've increased it, thank goodness. So what we did was we identified certain sites through the federations, through the municipalities, and through the national...
So it's the actual sporting federations that came to you and said, look, maybe we need help?
Oh, yes. So we put it out to our members, forward applications, forward ideas, and through that we were able to implement some of these projects.
Again, I think the question is, where do you start when it comes to this? I mean, where are the most pressing ones? Because I mean, there's a vast, number of sports.
We've received over 100 applications for the 5 million, and you can only spend so much. And this might shock you, but the Gazankulu Primary School in Chaiwelo, Soweto, had 1 squash court, and we've managed to build another squash court and office facilities as well, because about 200 to 600 kids play squash there, and very few people know about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to go there. I mean, are you looking at the so-called Cinderella sporting codes in as far as putting the money in, or are you saying, look, in Soweto they play soccer, so maybe let's put a football field there? Because again, I'll come back again, like you said, squash, a lot of people would not have thought that, but yes, they are playing squash in that area. So how are you identifying what facilities and which sporting venues to actually go to put the money in?
So looking at the various stakeholders, local government, provincial government, the sports federations in Gauteng, they gave us the ideas about what should be done. Yeah. We didn't choose it on our own. They gave us the ideas, and through that we were able to identify specific facility sites around Gauteng.
Top of your head, how many kids are affected with this? I mean, when I say affected, I mean how many kids obviously need this kind of funding for those facilities, or how many people do you think you can reach out and touch with the improvement of all these facilities?
What's the youth population of Gauteng? Every one of them need to be active in sport. We're never going to get to everyone, but if you can just provide a drop in the ocean in vereniging, in phosphorus, then we provide an opportunity for some of them to participate in a sport on a better facility.
Yeah.
So we're looking at over 5,000 kids being affected by this particular program alone. And it's not just the Cinderella codes. We involve football, we involve rugby, we involve ring ball. I don't know if you know that sport.
Yeah.
Very similar to netball. So it's the whole, you must remember in Gauteng there are about 70 different types of sport. And we involve all of them in this process.
Barry Hendricks, quickly, we've got about 30 seconds. I know you got money from the Gauteng Gambling Board, obviously, as an NGO. You also want, is there a way in which maybe people can reach out, and what kind of sort of assistance would you need? Corporate South Africa is watching right now.
Oh, we are totally compliant for the past 5 years since our establishment. And we call on partners to approach us, and we will gladly meet with them. And we've in fact been approaching companies to that effect, so that we can bring more money in. 5 million is not a lot. Yeah. And based on the fact that we impact on so many people, I think it's a worthy investment. Barry
Hendricks, I'm sure Corporate South Africa is watching. They'll be emailing us. In fact, I'll give you your details if they do get in touch with us. Thank you for joining us. Barry Hendricks, who's the president of Gauteng Sports Confederation, speaking to us right here on Sports on Prime. Project 5 million rand in the works. It's meant to help all, community of the province. So if Corporate South Africa is watching, do pitch in. We'll give you Barry's contact details later. We'll take a quick break on Sports on